All right, we're live.
Another episode of We Gotta Believe, brought to you by the one and only Coors Light. Look at these blue mountains, baby. That shade of blue. I might get Blue Mountains tattooed on my body. That might be the next move. Just right across my back. Just the Coors Light Blue Mountains, extra blue, because that's the only way to drink a beer. Your Coors Light. They sent me these Mets insulated cups. It stays icy cold. There may or may not be a Coors Light in here right now at 9:58 a.m.
It's opening day. Nothing counts on opening day. Like, you can do whatever, no calories count.
100%. Everything's fair game. And I'm not going to do what you all think I'm going to do. I flipped out last night at the Gala. Got it all out of my system. It's a new day. Jake coming back up over the horizon, like I said. We're about to get cooking. We're all good, Clem. Everything's fine. Nobody's in Panic City. Nothing to worry about. Nope, not here. Not at all.
You know why, Kev? Because Coors Light is the beer that's made to chill. So we're all going to chill out. It is officially the phrase. Coors Light is the one I choose when I need to unwind and when I need to chill out. So when you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart. KFC got his through Drizzly, and he has basically like a throne of Coors Light.
I got two 18-packs and two other 6-packs. I mean, it came to me like this delivery, like an oasis in the fucking desert. I was like, oh my God, this is the only thing that can save me right now from this godforsaken team. I woke up this morning.
Let me finish. The Mets season is here. Be sure to follow us on Twitter that you're tuned in with Coors Light. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Get that oasis of Blue Mountains to sit on for this goddamn season.
I woke up to I think it was PJ Conlon. Somebody used to pitch saying, like, Jesus Christ, Mets fans, calm down. It's game 3. I'm officially sick of hearing that. Don't people know this is what we do? Don't people know that this is what Mets Twitter and Mets fandom is? We overreact. Every single game is life or death. Every time they blow a game, we're going to freak out. Every time the manager does something stupid, we're going to freak out. This is just like, I don't even understand other baseball fans. They don't get upset about things. I don't get it. This is, and like, by the way, for the course, and I can't understand why people are so shocked that we're upset with this start. Of course we're upset.
We said we were still gonna be like this. Like, I'd rather just freak out about what's going on the field. Like, none of the off the field shit. As long as you're getting the players, they just have to perform when they get on the field. Our relievers suck. Like, that's the case right now. What are you gonna do? You can't not freak out.
Right. That's what I mean. It's like, yeah, it's a marathon and not a sprint and all that. But, like, why even watch and why even be a fan if you're just going to be like, okay, well, we blew the game. That's okay. I'm going to turn the TV off, go to sleep, and we'll just do it again tomorrow. No, the whole fucking point is to be ecstatic when they win. And when they don't win, you're pulling your hair out. That's, I don't know. Maybe it's just part of the mental illness that we have as Mets fans. Maybe, we talked to Glenny Balls last night in the Gala, and he was kind of like, I'm just here to watch, man. It's all good. I'm not going to get upset about lineups. Like, it is what it is. I was like, I wish I was more like that. I'm just not. And I'm not going to really even try to be. I am who I am. Can't change my stripes at this point in my life.
Uncle Stevie might change us down the road, but we said it's more our kids that will never have to grow up and live the life we've lived the last few decades.
Right.
That's the biggest change. I think, like, if we ever do morph into the franchise we want to morph into, we'll be all right. But
sure.
That's going to take a lot.
A long time. We've got like 30 plus years. We're like we're veterans of war. We came back, and we're back in civilian life, and everything's all good. We're not on the front lines anymore, but we still got PTSD from infinite tours of Mets life. And so we're not, it's not just going to be all like rainbows and sunshine right away. Now, let's say we have some little dynasty. Let's say we win a title. Let's say we make it to the World Series a couple times, something wild like that. Then maybe I can start to relax a little. It's like in like the 8th and 9th inning of a game, I need like a 10-run lead before I ever relax. So I need like a great run of success before I ever just be like, oh yeah, it's the Mets, no big deal. It's going to take a long time for me to get that out of my system. So yeah, when you start off as slow as they did with bad bullpen, bad defense, bad managing, no clutch hitting, like all of the hallmarks of a frustrating team, I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to voice my opinion about it. And anybody's got a problem with that can fuck off. I understand the Frank the Tank side of the spectrum where it's like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, fucking relax. But if there are legitimate concerns when all of these jamokes in the bullpen don't look good, when Rojas seems to be very shaky, like there are things that you can see being like, it's only game 3 right now, but we're going to blink and it's going to be game 73 and we're going to be doing the same exact shit. So, because I've seen this movie before. So this is how it goes, folks. Stop telling me to calm down.
And like you said, if the Mets aren't going to change, it's going to be hard for us to change. Because first game, DeGrom goes out dominant, team bullpen blows it, and they tease us at the end with that peak hit that pop out that I thought was a home run. That was the first game. Second game, offense shows up. We get to have some fun, and we feel great about ourselves. And then yesterday, David Peterson. That was Steven Matz on the mound in the first inning. That was Sven Matz just getting his dick kicked in right off the bat, 2 home runs, and you're just like, well, here we go. Game's over now. And then, like you said, they kept loading the bases, second and third, runners in scoring position, and just not coming through. And our guy, we love Conforto, but you got it.
How many times, like, he's got to be at the point where he's like, please don't be anybody on base. Please don't be anybody on base. Like the last thing he wants is to come out with runners in scoring position. The base is loaded. Another opportunity squandered. Eight men yesterday. I think it's like 13 on the season. Like that's, that could be the difference right there. You could be 3-0 if Conforto was hitting with all the opportunity he's had to drive in runners. So, that kind of gives you a little bit of hope where it's like, all right, Conforto's a good hitter. He's going to he'll be okay. And a lot of those, those ducks on the pond start coming home. The situation will be very different. But until there's anything that happens with that bullpen, it's like you could score 1,000 runs. Jacob deGrom could pitch five straight, every single day. And it wouldn't matter if that bullpen is what you're trying to get through 6, 7, 8, 9. Because, yikes.
It's just like, it seems like Rojas presses the wrong button every single time. And I don't think that he was the one that chose Peterson to start yesterday, but then Lucchesi comes out of the bullpen and he's the only competent one. He looked like Clayton Kershaw. I'm like, okay, well, if you see that guy throwing like that, and then you see Peterson, like, how do you choose Peterson over him?
Which, you know what, and two, like now we see what happens next time, because you're right, but maybe he looks at that and says, all right, Joey was fucking legit. He looked like competent, like you said, so he gets to start next time. If we just keep going back to the well and keep making these same mistakes, because let's face it, Rojas is not supposed to be a manager. He was born for that bench coach role or maybe down the road being a head coach, but he got thrown a manager, but he got thrown into this because of the whole Beltran situation. It's like, is there anybody out there who really thinks that he's the right baseball mind? Maybe he could be, but when you're unproven and then your first go round in this new era does not go well, people are going to judge you. People are going to get concerned. People are going to start to question. Now, if he has, a great week where he pushes all the right buttons, then okay, then we're coming around. But right now, there's just such a blank slate for him that all we kind of have at the moment is like, well, that was all fucking stupid.
As a wise man once told me, just be normal. That's the Kevin Clancy, motto right there.
Normal. It applies to baseball managers so well. Just don't overthink it. Just put the right guys out there. Don't use these in no sport is easier to manage in my mind. I know it's not easy, of course, but when you're sitting on your couch and you're like, what the fuck are we doing right now? And it really feels like I could be standing in that dugout making better decisions. It's just crazy to me. And maybe it's totally different. Maybe the guys on the field know that, we couldn't do this because of that, and we couldn't put this guy in because of this, whatever it may be. But it feels like a lot of these moves are just overthinking it, where the average Joe would be like, no, put Dominic Smith in the fucking game. Things like that are not, it doesn't take fucking, Tony La Russa mind changing the game type manager to do things like put Dom Smith in the game.
And the bullpen, I can even give him a pass on the bullpen because I honestly think it's just you're fucked no matter what. Edwin Diaz, we're recording this before opening day, so God knows what we're going to see if anyone's listening to this on Friday. But Edwin Diaz is the only dude that I'm I have confidence in, and that guy was the biggest nightmare of all time 2 years ago.
Yeah, Diaz had about as solid of a bounce back effort as you can get during the shortened season. He has earned, a little bit of confidence for sure. We always joke that there's the Joe DeMayo side of things, PSL to Flushing, where he thinks he's, untouchable. And then there's the people who are scarred from the year previous, where it was the worst thing you've ever seen. So he's not quite there. But the fact is that just process of elimination, the guy that I'm desperate to see is the guy that I once swore off. Like, I never want to see this guy again. That's how desperate the bullpen situation is. In the wise words of Frank Fleming, it's not a bullpen, it's bullshit. So,
the highlight of the Gala, I was just at the blogging, and I just was going through looking for some shots. And when he was like, I had a tweet lined up, just waiting for him. And then we were like waiting for some sort of pun or maybe a song.
Something funny.
You motherfucker. Like, well, Frank,
that was it. He was just ready to call somebody a motherfucker. That was Frank. Frank last night got booted from our Gala after he started speaking ill of DMX, which is just really not polite given the circumstances, Frank. And I don't appreciate any DMX slander on my Gala. So we booted him off as he laughed maniacally in our faces. We had Rico Bosco taking a walk outside the family house. We had Glenny Balls chiming in, smiling ear to ear. The Gala was great other than the circumstances, although I wouldn't have it any other way, really. I mean, imagine if we were 3-0 and everything was cooking. It would be like, I don't even know what we would talk about. We'd be like, oh, this is fun. Like,
we're lucky that like Lindor didn't blow out his ACL like minutes before the Gala. Like it's usually the darkest shit. Yeah,
don't even put that out. Don't even put that out there in the universe.
Kyle, if that happens in opening day,
I swear to God,
I will get death threats. I will get that.
My goal right now, like, you got Clem, who's got the 96ers. You got people who have World Series sites. I'm just trying to take baby steps. I just don't want any LOL Mets moments. And like, early on, some bonehead decisions, but nothing that's going to be memorable, nothing that's going to make a tournament, a bracket in the future. So I just want to avoid all that. And with some of the names that we're throwing out there, some of the slop that we might be working with, I am scared, guys. I'm scared. Like, I don't like expectations. I said this before a couple episodes ago. Like, 06, we were so good, but we really rocketed from like an 85-win team to like a 97-win team, like out of nowhere. 2015, halfway through the season, we had like the worst lineup in Mets history. And next thing you know, we turn on the Jets and make the World Series. These things always kind of like sneak up on us. Very rarely is it like we're coming into a fresh season with a good lineup, a Cy Young pitcher, like expectations are on us to make the playoffs. It's kind of going to be, it's a good division. So it won't be like, oh my God, I can't believe the Mets didn't make it if they don't. But the pressure is there now. And I don't like that. Having expectations as a Mets fan is like the worst thing in the world to me, because what can go wrong always does. So I'm like, well, yeah, we should score like 1,000 runs. And yeah, DeGrom should carry us along with Stroman, and Thor comes back and this and that. But there's just always this chance. It's always feeling in the back of my head where it's just like, they're just not going to perform, because that's just how it works for us. Oh. And I can't shake that until we get a few wins under our belt and be like, okay, this is how the Cohen era and the Lindor era is going to work. Right now, it's like kind of like guilty until proven innocent. Until you show me otherwise, I'm just going to be same old scarred Mets fan. And through 3 games, you haven't shown me anything.
And especially after, again, the way the 3 games have gone, it does feel like a fucking repeat. Everything, the first 3 games feel like a repeat of like the last few seasons, let alone last season. I just need to have something where it's like that Lindor incredible play made yesterday, him doing that in like a 3-2 game. You know what I mean? Like that's when you start building up confidence. I mean, the bullpen, honestly, I'm all for like, let's just do a line change where we just take everyone from AAA, bring them up and send everyone else down or cut them. Because this thing, we said it for like the last 2 years too. All the shitty moves Brody made was slowly killing our future bullpen, because it was all those young arms you just throw in the bullpen as you try to figure out if they work or not. Mm-hmm. And those guys are, the dude on, who is it? The dude on the Astros, fucking Montero becoming a closer is something that will drive me crazy. But at the same point, that was one of those things. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery. Hopefully the next Montero we don't ruin when he's here. But it's like Betances. I'll tell you right now, guys. Oh my God. I'm optimistic. Betances is cooked. I could not be more out on Dylan Betances.
How can you be 6'8" and throw 91 miles? How can you be 6'8" and throw 91 miles an hour? Like, I know you have arm problems. Everybody in baseball, whether you're good or not now, throws like 97, and we got this guy who throws 91 and can't find the strike zone, and that's who we're banking on. Like, give me a break.
And you're a contending team. If you want to be a serious playoff contender, you cannot be putting the ball in Dylan Betances' hands. It's just it's over. There's like this name cachet certainly around New York, because there was that time where he was like unstoppable, but that shit is long gone. If you're relying on old man Familia and broken down Betances and a bunch of no names, again, until they prove otherwise. If these first 3 games of the season they were all lights out, it'd be like, all right, I don't know, maybe the old man's reaching back and still got some in the tank, and these new guys are gonna like show up. But when they all have done the polar opposite, until anything proves otherwise, I'm gonna have to go ahead and assume that these old broken dudes and a bunch of no-name slops are gonna perform just like that.
Yep. And
what is Sandy doing right now? You think Sandy's just like, all right, we'll see what happens, or do you think he's like, fuck?
The thing, and this is the thing I will give the front office. They tried to get bullpen help, and it was like Hand wanted to close, and like there were certain guys, and just like circumstances didn't work out in the Mets' favor. So I think they did try to address it. It's just there was a couple other guys that went other places. Like we ended up with Loop. Wilson went to the Yankees. He's hurt though. And that's the other thing. Like all these guys wanted Springer. Now it sounds like there might be like a side issue to go along with, like he has a quad issue. Mm-hmm. So that's all fucked. Bauer hasn't looked like I don't think there is a $40 million pitcher. He sure as shit doesn't look like that. So at the same point, like, I can't get too upset. I think Brody just fucked us, man, because we had Betances' contract is huge for this year. Familia's is huge. Like Lugo's going to come back from the disabled list, and we're going to be like, please God. And how are you going to expect a guy coming off an elbow injury?
Right. That's the thing. And also, like, bullpen years are up and down. Like, Lugo's been good for a while now. It's like maybe he's due to kind of like, especially coming off an injury. Like, if Lugo's not good, if he struggles or it takes a while for him to get cooking, I'm like 100% banking on him being the savior. And if he's not, like, we're really fucked then. But and you're right though. It's like it's every bullpen. It's all across the league. Very rarely do teams have like true lockdown relievers. And when they do, when the Royals put it together, and when you got guys who just come in and shut down like the final 3 or 4 innings of the game, it's invaluable for that very reason. So I know it's not just Mets fans, but
every single year that I like the Mets, like every single year the Mets are good, I feel like the bullpen was good just those years. Like 06 was good, 2000 was good, 99 we had a good one, and then 2015, like everything fit together those years and no other years.
Right. I mean, and that's like, that's not coincidence, man. That's kind of, I feel like the way the world has been moving with starters instead of closers and like mixing and matching with your pitching and just having like a bunch of good arms and good bats with clutch hitting. And you just cobble together wins. But
down the stretch, though, if they don't fix it, I could see Rojas being like, okay, every pitcher needs to throw minimum 7 innings. Like, if you're not a 7-inning pitcher, like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Because you need something to bridge you to those final 2-inning guys. And if you don't have that, you can't, obviously pull DeGrom too early. But Peterson, lasted 5 innings yesterday? Like, that's not going to get it done because there's nobody else in the bullpen that's going well.
And so, Peterson the jury's out on him, but if you're talking about like professionals, veterans, you're talking about DeGrom, Stroman, Syndergaard when he comes back, like, I'd rather see those guys the third time through the lineup than some of these fucking bums, which is crazy to say because a lot of times in the modern era, like that third time is just killer for almost every pitcher other than the DeGroms of the world. But I'd rather lose with those guys than the same old like leadoff walk, hit batter, blue single, double down the line, bases clearing. Next thing you know, there's 3 runs in. It's like, what the fuck just happened? Because I can't take that. And it's ruined my life. The Mets bullpen has ruined my life. There's only one really that I've ever been truly comfortable with, and that was ruined when Duaner Sanchez got in a taxi accident, which I don't even know if I believe it's true anymore. As days go by, the more and more I think about a pitcher tearing his shoulder in basically like a fender bender. It's like, what really happened that night, Duaner Sanchez? What really went on when you wanted to go out and get some fucking food and some Dominican food or whatever it fucking was that night? I'm woke to the Duaner Sanchez injury. Everything else, like in 2015, I was always sweating. We've always had the K-Rods and the Billy Wagners and the Familias, the names who were putting up like 40, 50 saves, but it was always like bases loaded, 3-2 count, fly ball to the warning track, you get the save. It was always making me sweat. There was really only 1 year in my life that I was ever like, let's get to the bullpen. Let's get to our relievers. I can't wait because the game's over. Even when we signed Putz and K-Rod, it was supposed to be like lock. It just never works out that way. And that's when we had names. That's when we had guys who did put up, 40 saves. Now you're talking about, other than hopefully Diaz, it's a bunch of nobodies, man.
The spin zone to all this, it might make Diaz finally become like beloved to Mets fans.
Yeah.
And we will put him on such a pedestal if he's even just decent. We won't even
Right.
care. Like, all right, you gave up 2 runs, but got the save. Like, that's fine, man. That's just, you're better than everyone else. Everyone else has double-digit ERA. You're fine. And listen, I know everyone lost their mind about the DeGrom 77 pitches and all that stuff. I didn't even think about how this is a crazy year because everyone pitched like 80 innings max last year because the fucking Corona season. So I forgot that, they're baby pitchers beforehand. The thing is, if all that would have happened is if they let DeGrom go another inning, Miguel Castro's in pitch and he had a clean slate. It was Trevor May has to get the outs. Aaron Loop's going to have to get those big lefties out, which when they're like Aaron Loop's summer is going to be getting up Bryce Harper, Freddie Freeman, and Juan Soto. I was like, oh my God. Our happiness is in Aaron Loop's left.
The fact that his name is Loop
is a problem. A real problem.
A real fucking problem.
And I'm not even kidding. Too. It looks like soup, which I hate that you.
But coming off of, I still have Braden Looper PTSD, opening day blown saves for Pedro. And now I got another guy, Looper. It's like, I just can't have it. That guy needs to change his name. Put his fucking first name on the back. Go nameless. Change your number. Change something. Just get Loop out of my fucking face. These guys are going to be so bad all summer.
All right. I think.
And by the way, Jerry Blevins is just sitting in the wings, waiting in the wings down in minors. And I'm like, what do we?
Why not?
He's going to eat some innings. At least when you put that guy in, I'm like, okay, at least he's going to throw it over the plate.
Did you?
He's not going to hit anybody.
Today? He tweeted he's got like 663 total appearances in his career. And Pujols has like 665 home runs or whatever it is. Pujols has more home runs than Blevins has appearances in games. It's fucking amazing, dude. Yeah, but like at this point, I'd rather I don't know if those guys are just not ready, or who knows? Maybe maybe some of these guys like round into shape. I don't know, but sometimes I feel like if it's gonna be like just completely bad no name pitchers, I'd rather go with some crafty veterans, or, get me like the Pedro Felicianos of the world. Get me some specialists that I've, seen in action before that I know what to expect, because these other names are just, they're going to be the death of me, man.
I think we have it figured out. There's those are the big moves. You want to trade for relievers. You want to get guys. Those are the moves Sandy will make in June, July, and all that stuff. There's a couple small issues we can fix just in-house, whether it's the front office, the equipment manager. Number one, Aaron Loop, change your name. That has to be done.
Gotcha.
We could come up with what's Aaron Loop backwards? Puol, Aaron Plol. It's like, whoa, that guy's a lefty. I don't know what the fuck. You don't even know how to pronounce it. It could be Puol. It could be Plol. So that's number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list. We're staying with name changes. Luis Rojas is Luis Alou. It has to be done. I need an Alou as my manager. If you can't give me the Alou last name, because I don't know what the relationship is with his father. Frank called him a bastard.
I was going to say that was actually the most disrespectful moment. Not making fun of DMX in a vegetative state, just calling Luis Rojas Moises Alou's bastard son, like straight out of Game of Thrones, Jon Snow shit. Like, I don't respect you because you're a bastard. I was like, holy shit, Frank, calm down, dude.
Luis Diamond. That's actually, if we're gonna go bastard names, we said the Diamond would be the baseball version of Snow. So Luis Diamond or Luis Alou. Those are the two. And then finally, like Kyle said, Peterson went from 77 to 23, and he fucking got titted. Go back to 77, or if you don't want to do that, because that is a fucking it never looks good when you have a spring training number on during the season. Yeah. You have to choose something, just not 23 and not 42, because that motherfucker, who's the guy, Barnes, yesterday gave up a 3-run bomb with Bartolo's number on. I don't want to see anyone wearing Bartolo's number unless you bring the kind of electricity Bartolo brings, which is basically impossible.
That picture of him circulating yesterday, where he's like sitting on the boat. Oh my God. I just want to be him. I would rather put Cologne out there. Like, put Cologne in our bullpen. Give me Big Sexy. I know he's shot, but I'd rather it be Big Sexy out there than these fucking no-namers. I
remember Yelich
and Big Sexy.
When Yelich and Bohr were on the Marlins and you were interviewing them, they said he was by far the toughest pitcher to face.
Yeah,
he was the biggest pain in the ass because the ball moves so much laterally.
Right.
And it's like, I don't care if he throws. We got Betances throwing 91. You're telling me
we might as well have
can't throw 90?
89. Yeah, exactly.
With some movement in the zone.
I got another idea. I got another thing we can do here. Betances, I don't care what the fucking rules and regulations of Major League Baseball are. He has to wear a Yankees jersey. I know it might kill you guys, but Dylan Betances in a Mets jersey is poison to me. I need him in a Yankees jersey. That will make him. It'll add at least 3 miles per hour to his fastball. It's pinstripes.
I know that you can't play like armchair manager. I know it's silly to be like, to act like you know what you're talking about, but it's just like Dylan Betances was never going to be a good Met. It was never going to work. It was just not going to happen. And I remember being like, okay, maybe he's going to bounce back. And in the back of my head, it was like, no, he's like a Yankee and it's just not going to work because there are just things in baseball. There's juju in baseball. And I used to think that Steve Cohen had enough money to buy his way through bad juju. And in the early going, I don't think that's the case. So now I'm going to start to get scared where it's like, I always believed that the Mets had a black cloud over them. And then we had that Mets Fans Anonymous proclamation where it's like, it's not magic. It's not black magic. It's that we have bad owners. It's rotting from the inside out. And we got rid of that. And that's why it's all going to be different. But what if that black cloud shit is real, Clem? What if it's just, we're destined? There are forces of nature, Clem, paranormal activity, alien activity, Sasquatch and Bigfoot, Chupacabra and Mets baseball. Some things cannot be explained.
Kevin, this is the best part about Uncle Stevie buying this team. A man as rich, as cunning, as smart, as good looking as Uncle Stevie. If Uncle Stevie comes and cannot make this team successful after he built himself into a billionaire, we can rest in peace saying it was just we rooted for a fucking haunted team.
Right.
I can live with that.
That's actually a good point. We
have a chance now.
We went all in. We've got Steve Cohen. If he can't overcome it, then it truly is I was up against Satan himself. I was working against forces that no mere mortal can overcome. So the deck was stacked against us. That's a good point. That's almost, man, part of me almost
liberating.
We're terrible, and then I can just hang it up and stop being a fan. It's look, we got Steve Cohen, we got Francisco Lindor, and we still only won, what did Frank say, 67 games? If that happens, I'll be like, okay, give me 96 or give me 67. One way or the other, I'd be happy and I'd be at peace because it is what it is then.
You try to get Frank up to 69. We should let's try to get Tank. I'm sure he'll have no problem doing this. Amend it to 66 wins. So then I am a 96er in terms of wins. He's a 96er in terms of losses.
Okay,
perfectly balanced. So I'm sure Frank could trim a win off this thing. I'm sure he has no problem doing that.
If you need Frank Fleming to do one thing, it's lower his predictions for Mets baseball. That's certainly in the cards. I promise you that.
By the way, he's in the office bright and early, decked out head to toe in Mets stuff. The fact that he just ethers them every night and then just wakes up in the morning and he's like, all right, it's a new day.
It's time for baseball. I mean, it's truly insanity. I've said sports fandom is a mental illness. Mets fandom is, a severe mental illness. And Frank has the worst case of it I've ever seen. I mean, I get so fed up with his ridiculous negative takes, even being pessimistic myself. But then I realized, he's got 10 more years than I do. It's I don't know how bad. If I had another decade of misery, but I also think that he had the World Series. He had 86. He had, so it's in some ways, Frank the Tank, I said this before, we're the worst generation where it's too young to remember 86 and still just the last 30 years being, diehard fans. So I don't want to hear from Frank, but I also do. I mean, another decade of this would probably put me in my grave.
And that is why today is such an important day, because we're all hurting right now. And we were this close. I mean, we were just Trevor May not sucking and Aaron Loop not being Aaron Loop away from being 2-1, saying, all right, we took 2 or 3 from the Phils, and now let's go to home opening day. But this is the day of eternal optimism. We got the most beautiful sight in sports. The bunting is out.
Yes. Oh, wow.
This is what it's all about. Today, this is the other thing. We said nothing counts on opening day. You want to have, you want to responsibly drink a nice Coors Light nice and early. That's fine. It's opening day. Calories don't count on opening day. You have your day game dogs. Throw a little extra mustard. We're not going to judge them. We didn't get a legitimate opening day. We went from no season. We went from basically a fake season last year to starting this year without any hat tips, any pomp and circumstance, none of that stuff. Today is the first day. I'm wiping the first 3 from the record. It's going to make getting 96 even harder if I wipe away one of our wins, but that's fine. Today is the day. This is opening day for the Mets, in my opinion. I don't care what anyone says, because you got to have that opening day in baseball without the fucking guys running out of the dugout, tipping the cap, the cheers, all that kind of stuff. That is opening day in baseball. And if you don't have the bunting up, which I don't think the Phillies did, it doesn't count. So we're 0-0 going into the season with 159 games left.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that idea. It's just like, you know what we like? I feel like baseball sometimes needs to take a page out of like Coach O's book and some college football shit. Like we need to bury our bats, burn our bats, switch our jerseys, some shit like that, because it is a superstitious game. And I do think like some of those, like if we're going to play 27 outs and be celebrating World Series and shit and like run those sort of weird, wacky simulations, let's do some other juju shit after a weird, awful, you got COVID, you got a bad start on the road, you got blown, just wash it away. You know what they all should do? You know what we should do is we should just drizzly a bunch of Coors Light to Citi Field. Maybe after the game. But crack open some Blue Mountains and just wash away that whole stank of a week and start. I always wonder that. It's like, I think when you're a professional athlete, you get to that point where you're kind of like, you don't get too caught up. You don't let things get to you. It's a marathon, not a sprint, all that. But does some of like the Mets fandom trickle into you? Is like, is like Pete Alonso like pressing right now? Or is he like, fuck these people are idiots, Like how much can you really can you insulate yourself from the back pages and social media and idiots like us? Because I feel like it's only natural, especially if you're young, to let some of that in, because it's probably awful playing for us. It's probably terrible. I would never, ever play for the Mets. Like, thank God Lindor came here, but like, what are you thinking, bro? Because we're just terrible. We're just like the worst. We're the best fan base, but we're the worst fan base.
Or like basically the first thing we said to Jeff McNeil was like, "Oh, we're so sorry. We're gonna be such assholes to you. Please don't hate us." Like, hey guys, I'm just really nice, quiet Jeff McNeil. What are you guys doing? And we're like, all right, we're gonna fucking hate your guts. We're gonna boo you. We're gonna call you all the names in the book. But we're crazy, but you know what? We're like the lovable crazy guy. We're not like the guy you like hide your kids from or anything. We're the lovable crazy guy, right?
I hope so. I hope that it's lovable. I could see you guys being like, I don't love this. You guys are fucking assholes.
I mean, when Frank the Tank is like eating full articles of clothing, it's like, that's scary, like that.
But also, it's like, would you rather play for that or like, the Braves or the Rays or a team that can like barely fill a stadium on a playoff night,
Like the A's started 0-6, and yeah, they're West Coast, so we're not hearing about it, but they're supposed to be a good team. And it's like whatever. Do you want to sit like you're on the field with 6,000 fans and nobody gives a shit? Like, I think that they'd rather at least people get on them.
Juice.
Yes. Unless you're like Jay Bruce, who sucked for the Mets and then goes to the Yankees and now he's a world beater again. That's the one thing. Anytime we send our players to the Yankees, immediately turn it around. Anytime we get any of their players, it's fucking
trash. They're over. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's because that's been a lifetime of like competent management, like tricking like little brother. You know what I mean? It's like when you fucking outsmart your younger sibling. It's like, yeah, this is fucking easy to win. But yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather play for like a juiced up. You know what is funny though? I look at the A's, I'm like, they'll be fine. But for the Mets, I'm like, fuck, which is like, why? They've lost twice as many games as the Mets, before finally getting their win. I'm like, it's only 6 games, but for the Mets in 3, I'm like, well, we've got issues.
All you need to know about the difference between the Mets and the A's is that Jed Lowry died here, and now he has risen and is the everyday second baseman for the goddamn A's. Did you see that? Someone tweeted out the picture of him with the Mets, and he has like a frowny face, and now with the fucking A's, he's the straight up smiling teeth emoji. Like, we got fucking all the chompers. I could fucking see I can see his molars. He's so fucking happy. It's unbelievable. But that
$20 million to do nothing
for multiple years. It's insanity, man. It's absolutely nuts.
And like you said with the Mets and the Yankees too, like the fact that not only did we sign Betances, we signed Betances coming off of an Achilles injury. So it's like we already were going to take the discount as the Mets. It was going to be like we were going to get the discounted version of him. And then we get the injured discounted version of him. And Jay Bruce, I can't even, whatever. Like, he's going
to suck. He's coming out hot, but he's going to suck.
He's making like great plays at first base too. It's not even his position. I'm like, what the fuck?
But that's where baseball, like water, finds its level, unless, if you manage something like that perfectly and use him in the right spots. But if he gets exposed for any.
The first time we got him for the playoff push in 2016, and he absolutely fucking sucked. Then he came back and he was okay, and we traded him to the Indians, and then he goes on this huge tear with the Indians, and we bring him back and he sucks again. I was like, what the fuck?
That's why
some people just can't play there.
Sometimes I'm just like looking for the black cloud, man. It's like there's something afoot here, something going on.
We got what? I got a live. We want a live reaction to the opening lineup today.
Oh boy, is it gonna make me upset?
I'm not gonna tell you either way. Ready?
Leading
off for your New York Metropolitans, Brandon Nimmo, center field.
Nimmo BP.
Number 2 in the lineup, the man, the bad mother effer himself, Francisco Lindor. Number 3, Scott Boris's favorite client, Michael Conforto. Number 4, Pete Alonso. Number 5, Dom Smith. Number 6, a third, Jonathan Villar. 7, Jeff McNeil. 8, James McCann. 9, Taijuan Walker.
I mean, they're settling into this Jeff McNeil batting 7th thing, which is just, again, it's just like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's just silly. I don't need Francisco Lindor to absolutely bat second. I would rather get Nimmo with his OBP at the top of the order, along with McNeil's bat, to set the table for all those big guys in a more traditional two hitters to set up for your 3, 4, 5. I know that's like not the analytics way, but when you've got 2 guys like Nimmo and McNeil, I'd rather work like that than throw one at the back of the fucking. I mean, how many at bats do you cut out of McNeil's season if you're putting him 7th it just. I know like the lineup turns over after one time and it's all kind of like a mess after that, but it's like it just doesn't seem to make sense to me. And third, I know right now third with JD Davis being out, it's like a little jacked up, but it's like, what?
They just keep putting whoever's playing third base, they're sandwiching them between Dom and McNeil because they don't want back-to-back lefties. And like, fine, but
I know righty-lefty is, of course, important, but sometimes I think we just get too cute with this shit where it's like, let's just let the good players be fucking good and put them where the good players should play.
The Phillies only had the one dude, Alvarado or whatever, who was their left. Like, I think team by team, like obviously you have a lefty starter or you have like a bullpen with a bunch of lefties, you could want to, spread them out a little. But if there's a team that's like, hey, these guys, lefties pound this team, put the lefties wherever the fuck you want.
Right.
And then if there's especially with the 3 batter minimum now, if they're going to bring a lefty in to do stuff, you can then either use a pinch hitter off the bench or, you just fucking take your lumps and you figure out what's going to happen. But I mean, the other day, Loop comes in, he hits Harper, the whole reason he's in. And then it's like, well, now we have this fucking asshole in the game for the next 2 batters. So I don't know. I couldn't believe this. I don't know if you guys saw it. I had, I think, at least 3 consoles on my timeline yesterday. We have consoles going on right now.
I mean, I hope those people know the rules of the console game. You get 1 console and you can't unconsole. So if Francisco Lindor and Steve Cohen are somehow making a playoff push and you consoled on fucking April 8th, you're out. There's no fucking coming back. So,
Kev, have you consoled the console? Have you consoled the console? Now that we have a new owner?
No. Heavens to best. I mean, like the console can be Game 7 of the World Series. It's the moment that you're officially eliminated. So you can be a good team and still get consoled. Now the more traditional console is like, I'm calling it. This team is dead, and they're not worth me like dedicating my entire life and schedule to it. And that usually takes a little more of a touch, a little more of a sense and a feel for things. Like, Addison Reed gives up a home run on Mother's Day. It's like, it's over. It's just fucking done. There's certain moments that Jay Bruce, when he hit like a walk-off against us when we let him go, I was like, that's a console. But just, 3 bad games without even having like a true terrible moment other than just like bonehead play. Like if there had been like a comedy of errors and there was an injury and like, I don't know. There needs to be something. There needs to be some je ne sais quoi to your console. So playing fast and loose, everybody can console whenever they want, but 1 console, everybody knows the rules. So playing it very, very early. I think that with Steve Cohen, it's like the grand big picture console has been canceled. Whereas like I was like, we'll never win a World Series with the Wilpons. We are eternally canceled, whether we make the playoffs and have good seasons here or there or not. We will never win. With this, it's like that I can get rid of, but season to season in game type console, that's always on the table. I feel like I can't console this team like any time, even in like the first half of the season. Like
no, you got to wait till the trade deadline at least.
Yeah. Usually trade deadline, because that's what I said in 15. I wrote a blog that said like console decides and with an asterisk as the title, and I said like unless they make some major moves, and that's obviously what they did. So yeah, the trade deadline can change everything, and that lineup is good enough where if they just start raking, that they could just like mash their way out of any hole and close any deficit. So ordinarily it's like there's no talent and we're in a hole. You go ahead and console. But with talent, anything can happen in baseball. We've seen, Mets collapses, Red Sox collapses. We've seen people blow double-digit leads in September. Anything can happen. That's baseball, Susan.
If you console now in this current Mets world we live in, you are consoling Steve Cohen's Mets. You're consoling Steve Cohen's brain. You're consoling Steve Cohen's wallet. You're consoling all that. You're consoling Sandy Alderson actually being able to make moves that he wants to make instead of the moves that fit the budget. So that's what you're doing. And you're also doing it at a time where other teams are probably going to be looking to like shed some salary, especially with the CBA coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to be buyers unless something, catastrophically goes wrong.
Yes.
And in that case, you're probably already consoled at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like it's either Team Console or Team Cohen. Like pick your sides, and I'll ride with the mega successful billionaire until proven otherwise. If it's 5, 6, 7 years later and he's just as bad as our past owners somehow, well then we'll talk. But right now, I'm riding with Cohen, and today we ride with Walker on the mound. I know Meek Phil last night, his prediction is that Walker will have a better season than Bauer, and we will been vindicated for not spending on Bauer. Meek has always been beating that drum, and I know he's a very savvy fan, but I also think he just hates the fuck out of Trevor Bauer. So I think he just wants that to be the case, which I'm always down for. I'm always down for rooting with my heart and not my brain. But there is a chance that Bauer is the 4 ERA pitcher instead of the Cy Young pitcher. I don't know all about Walker necessarily pitching better than him. I'm just hoping that Bauer has a pedestrian enough year that I don't fucking kick myself for not spending,
There was a time when Walker was like the heir apparent to Felix Hernandez.
Right.
And then he just fell off. So like, if he can come back and even
a
little bit of that,
Kyle. People come to the Mets and get better.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
He's young though. He's younger than Bauer. So like he's been around a long time, but it's also you get bit by the injury bug, and we know the Mariners are the West Coast Mets, but
that's the only thing that might work. It's like if it was coming from another good team, I would be like, well, they know something we don't. We're getting played here, but the Mariners are easily the type of team to give up on, the wrong guy at the wrong time, and we have a bounce back. It's the only team that I feel like we could like get one over on would be the Mariners. So there's some life there. A big start to open up at Citi Field would be amazing. I think it would go such a long way.
He has a great name, and he's number 99. So those two things make me feel pretty fun. You turn on the game at 110 today, and 99 is throwing the ball. Named Taijuan Walker. I feel good.
Yes.
Just in that. This is a baseball juju thing. This is not like looking at advanced stats and all that. That's just a feel, which means just as much as anything in baseball, right?
Right. No, it really does, especially Mets baseball. So I'm down to ride. Let's go, Walker. I'm all about the 99. I'm all about the superstition.
He's going to have the necklace on today, too, I hope.
Yeah. No. He said he's not. Since he's been pitching so well, he said he hasn't even touched it. He's like, I don't even want to touch it. And they were like, oh, well, that's even more.
Absolutely.
Like, Kirk Wendell is totally on board with that.
Absolutely. As long as it's not like I'm poo-pooing the Turk Wendell gift, because then that's
afraid to touch it.
That's as long as he's doing something superstitious with I need someone like Stroman to tweet out a picture of it. Like, we need evidence of it, and it's there, and it's being appreciated, but you don't have to wear it. Like, I love that. Don't touch the money. Don't touch the cup. Don't touch the shark necklace given to you by Turk Wendell.
I want it in his locker behind glass. It says "break in case of emergency."
Yeah.
If we need it, in August, break that motherfucker and wear it.
Even that'd be so great.
You know what I need to one time for the fans, give me a Rosenbag spike. Give me a little fucking throwback. Let's get the crowd going. Let's get people happy. We got Jake on Lindor Day on Saturday for the first kind of Barstool at the Ballpark because of COVID restrictions. Back home, Empire State Building, your favorite building, Clem, will be lit up orange and blue today.
Oh God, when he put on, and Empire State Building is a hate. When he put on the fucking Eagles colors after they won the Super Bowl, that was like, it was war. It was legitimate war. All the other stuff I was offended by, but the Eagles stuff was legitimate war. It was basically he killed one of my family members.
I don't blame you for that. It's not my favorite building either.
Jihad. He committed jihad on my family.
All right, so day game dogs, Citi Field opener. Get your Coors Lights out, Blue Mountains to chill out, relax. This is where we like Clem said, scrap that week, forget about that series. 159 to go, 95 more games to hit that 96 win total. It all starts today. Let's do our own ceremony then. Like I said, we need to like no longer speak of these first 3 games. That's it. We'll no longer talk about those mistakes. If they continue, of course, we'll talk about it. But we will. I'm gonna. What can we do here? I'm gonna crack a beer. Okay, we're gonna lay the first 3 games of the season to rest. So, as you do for your fallen boys, I'm gonna crack one out. I'm gonna pour one out. Just straight up, just pouring it on the ground in my apartment right now. For the first week of the season and the first 3 games, it's dead, it's buried, it's over. Because my floors are slanted, all of the beer is just sliding down the floor right now.
Fire, it's nice.
It's over, and we never speak of it again. Let's go Mets for the next 159. You got to believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
I got to clean up this beer.